Auburn is 10 days away from playing Baylor and Waco, and Hugh Freeze says he wouldn't hesitate to throw in Deuce Knight. Welcome on into the Auburn Express, powered by the War Report. I'm your host, Mike G. Turn us up, turn us all, turn it out. I'm here with my good friend Kyle Rush from The Barn. Visit thebarnauburn.com for all your Auburn news and gossip. They got lots of great things going on over The Barn, the only message board we support here at the War Report. We appreciate all the great work that they're doing. Kyle, on today's show, we're talking about Hugh Freeze. He took the podium to talk to the media. I was a little under the weather, so I wasn't there to ask questions, but my fellow media members did a good job getting some sound bites for us to talk about today. And not the least of them, not QB. I mean, whew, boy, let me tell you, we got a couple clips for you guys. We're going to talk about Deuce Knight and all the QBs, really some really interesting comments today. Sorry, my mic muted for no reason there.
You good?
We'll talk about all the QBs and what Hugh Freeze had to say about them. But let's get the conversation started with a question he was asked about Deuce and his development and progress. We'll take a listen and we'll be right back to comment.
You mentioned it just then with the pocket, but where do you want to see those guys most improve, I guess, in that area the next 2 weeks? And then how ready would you say Deuce is, from watching him in camp?
He's getting better, I think, as far as sitting in there and making a throw, he's ready. He can do that. There's still things, setting protections is new. And that's kind of an issue that he still has growth to do in it. Maybe recognizing a little. Our defense is doing a really nice job of disguising things, and all of them are missing some of that. It's even hard for us as coaches when you're watching film to see it. They're doing a really nice job. So I think he's just got to improve in the mental side of it. Physically, he can make all the throws right now. So I wouldn't hesitate to throw him in a game. Hopefully we'll start tomorrow, trying to really get these. We haven't studied. We got the base down plan in, but we don't have, hey, all right, how are we setting these protections? And so we'll start working that tomorrow, and hopefully all of them will feel better about, that aspect of it by mid next week.
I wouldn't hesitate to throw him in a game, Kyle. Hugh Freeze making reference to Deuce Knight just having to learn the mental side of the game, setting protections. Is this good news for Auburn that Deuce Knight is, just a couple protections away from being game ready, man? It was widely believed that he would be a project when he came into Auburn. People were comparing him to Juju Lewis and saying, well, Juju's more game ready and Deuce is more of a project. Deuce has said, I am not a project. I am him. And he has performed like it so far since he's been at Auburn.
Yeah, look, I took that a little bit different. I didn't take that as I could just throw him in the second drive of the game and have him lead Auburn down the field against Baylor. That's not really how I took that. I think it was the way I took it was if the situation came about, if there's a big lead and you there's nothing holding me back from putting him in when the situation arises, whether it's a big lead or if there's an injury or something like that. I'm hoping it doesn't mean that we got this special Deuce Knight playbook that we're going to run out there at random times, because that to me would be a disaster and turn me sour really, really quick, because I am so over bringing in alternate quarterbacks and whatnot. But I think he just meant, hey, if the situation presents itself, I'm not going to be scared to throw Deuce out there and go. I think he's getting closer to the point where if that were to happen, we could do enough with him to be successful. That's kind of how I took it. I could just be way off. I don't think I am, though.
Yeah, I don't think you are either. Look, Deuce Knight he could be a generational prospect for Auburn.
Sure.
And if I were to make a case for Hugh Freeze to be the coach, no matter what happens this season, it's that I would want to see him see it through with Deuce Knight as quarterback down the road. I have great expectations for Jackson Arnold, but I like all these guys, right?
Yeah.
And I think that Deuce Knight is potentially something very, very special. Before we get to the next clip, there was a video that Auburn football put out of their decision to retire Cam Newton's number.
Yeah.
And, there was a little bit of internet controversy over whether Deuce should wear number 2 or not. I was in the camp where I'm like, no, it's Cam's, retire it, blaze your own trail, young man.
Yeah.
Come here, make history, and then you will immortalize another number. But strong words, I think, from Coach Hugh Freeze in praise of his quarterback, which is great. Look, he was asked more about quarterbacks and game planning. We're going to listen to this next clip, and then we'll comment.
Hugh, I know you talked a little bit about Deuce, but just wanted to ask you about kind of the picture at quarterback behind Jackson. Just how are things going as far as deciding a quarterback too, and how have Deuce and Ashton looked in that regard?
Pleased with both. Think that there's a place for both, depending on the scenario in the game. Without giving away too much, I think, there's a place for both of those guys that you could play to their strengths. And we won't be afraid to do that.
You mentioned now, starting this week and into next week, that you're on that Friday schedule in preparation for Baylor. But in terms of the Bears themselves, have you guys started on prep for that? How has that looked like, and when will all that really get ramped up?
Yeah, we started back in June, trying to get a head start on our first couple games so that we feel like we're in a decent spot. So yesterday was and Saturday was a good day to kind of refresh ourselves on all right, what do we feel good about in base downs, and who really are they? Give me the overview again. And so yeah, we're mixing it in. We're still going good on good, so it's not like we haven't broken up and gone scout teams yet. Today we did one period of offense defensive choice where we tell them what we want and they make it look as close as they can, and then they do the same for 10 plays. So but I think right now keeping the speed of the game up is important, and the physicality of it. And so we serviced each other, and we'll do that again tomorrow, and then we'll start kind of really, all right, let's get us now a true scout period, a day headed into the weekend.
Couple questions there. We'll start with quarterbacks. Kyle, he likes his quarterbacks. He likes Ashton. He likes Deuce. There may be a potential role for both those guys in game 1 versus Baylor. What are your thoughts about rolling out special packages maybe for these quarterbacks situationally? It felt like that was a very unpopular opinion the first or option the first 2 years. Whenever a quarterback would come out, it felt like it was breaking the flow if the quarterback was on a run. Do you think this is something that we will see, or has Auburn learned from past mistakes?
Oh, I hate everything about it. So I'm just going to go and put that out there. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I hate everything about subbing a quarterback. I don't think that's what he's talking about here. I hope that's not what he's talking about here. I think this is a couple of things. One, let's throw whatever we can out there, sound bites for Baylor to have to prepare for. They got to, there's not a ton of difference in the skill sets between the three. So
right.
That one's a little bit of a stretch, but I mean, why not? Throw whatever you can out there for Baylor to have to prepare. And then, hey, there's a chance Auburn gets, could jump out to a big lead and get to play the other guys. And that could be what he's talking about if the scenario presents itself. Those were his exact words. I can't imagine there can be something Deuce Knight and Ashton Daniels do so much better than Jackson Arnold that it needs its own plays to come out there and run like that. I can't buy into that like whatsoever. So I'm leaning towards that's not what he's talking about. So we'll see. And I've told other people I'm not going to be a very nice person if that were to happen. We better score. We better score or have a big play every time it does it, or I'm not going to be a very nice person.
Yeah, it's not something I really want to see either, Kyle.
Ever again.
Yeah, if it works, he's a genius. If it doesn't, you know what we're going to be on this show saying. Look, at the end of the day, Auburn has the talent. And I'm with you. I don't know what Jackson or Ashton would do so much better than Jackson Arnold, because he's a dual threat.
Yeah,
he's a dual threat. He can use his legs, and he's a decent runner, and he can throw the ball, and that's why you brought him here. So exactly. I want to see Jackson Arnold be the first option on everything here. No gimmicks, man. Just straight up football. Let's play and see where it lands. And speaking of seeing where it lands, all this has to culminate in something. And what is the most likely outcome? We've given our takes on the score. But after the break, we're going to come back and we're going to do a little over-under on Auburn Baylor. My good friend Kyle Rush. Let's our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
This episode of the Auburn Express is brought to you by our friends at the Vibe Vault. You can find them at 3462 Crosswinds Road, Suite E in Phoenix City, Alabama. That's right across the street from the Chattahoochee Valley Community College, next to Renfro's Supermarket and Marco's Pizza. The Vibe Vault. If you're in the Columbus, Phoenix City area and you're looking to get fresh for the weekend, get fresh for the weekend with the Vibe Vault. Not just barbers, lifestyle consultants.
This episode of The War Report is brought to you by our friends at The Rogue Shop. Visit rogueshop.com. Use code REPORT to get 15% off your Rogue Shop order. Pain, sleep, stress, anxiety, whatever ails you in life, The Rogue Shop has something that has you covered. Also want to thank our friends at Golden's Cast Iron. Visit goldenscastiron.com/WR. Use code Get Your Weight Up for 15% off your weights and code TWR for $65 off fire pits and Kamado grills. Golden's Cast Iron. Workout, grill out, chill out with Golden's Cast Iron. Also want to thank our friends at setsforsociety.ai. Do you want to get to know yourself a little better? Be a better partner, a better teammate, a better coworker? Setsforsociety.ai has custom personality assessments to help you assess just that. How you can relate better to the world around you. Relate better to the world around you with setsforsociety.ai. Visit them today to get your custom personality assessment started now. Well, let's get back into the conversation right now. Over under, Kyle. Auburn has to play a solid game on the road. I've called for them to win this game 38-17. I think you gave me 30-24. Was that your prediction? It was like a touchdown.
I thought it was a little bit more than a touchdown, but I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure I gave you a score prediction.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, let's do it right now.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like at least 2 touchdowns. I think 32-18, 32-17, something like that. Okay. I think it's going to be a good one.
I called it 38-21. I think the defense shows up. 21 about hits their average for points allowed last year. Nobody really ran away from Auburn. If the offense gets going, I think it's going to be even better for the defense. But Auburn has to protect the football. Jackson Arnold has falsely been accused of being an interception machine. My guy Cam Stewart over at Locked On Baylor talking that bull jive about Jackson Arnold. But look, man, he only threw 3 interceptions last year to 12 touchdowns. Fumbles were the issue, playing behind a porous O-line that could not protect anything. What do you think? Over under 2 turnovers for Auburn on the road at Baylor.
I think 2 is probably. I'm gonna say push.
Push. Okay. Probably, all right.
That's probably.
Fair.
I think first game. I think they're going to put in the air a lot. So I don't think 2 turnovers would be crippling. I would think that might be the number. But I think that would be fine. As much as I think they're going to score a bunch of points. So it's not going to really matter. And I think Baylor's probably going to have Baylor's going to have issues, I think, stopping Auburn. So even if there is a couple of turnovers, I just don't see it being that big of a deal.
Yeah, football. Damari Olsen has got to hold on to the football. He had a little bit of the fumbles, and hopefully, if he's cured that, Auburn secures the win. Again, I called it 38-21. So we'll see how that goes. Let's go to touchdown passes with Jackson Arnold. Over under 3 touchdown passes for Jackson Arnold.
You got to give me the halves. You got to give me a hook. You got to be like 2.5 or 3.5. So because 3 is my number.
I'm giving you the push. I'm giving you the push.
Okay, I'm gonna take 3. That's what I think. I think 3.
You're taking the push again?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take the push. Give me the hook though, so I can win a bet.
All right. Look, I'm gonna go. Look, man, I'm bullish on Jackson Arnold right now. So if you ask me, I'm going over. I think he has a chance to have a really, really good day.
If Auburn has trouble running the ball in the red zone, the only way they're going to be able to score is throwing it into the end zone. So, I mean, I think I like 3, and then maybe the dam breaks, but I could see a scenario where, hey, maybe it's more. Probably basically what you were about to say as well. So I could see that scenario. I think a safe pick is 3.
All right. Yeah, I'm going over. I think 4 touchdown passes for Jackson Arnold.
Let's go.
And a 38-point score. Let's jump over to the wide receiver room. Over under 80 yards receiving for Cam Coleman.
Smash the over.
Smash the over.
Stack it up to here. Stack it to your chin and smash it. I think he goes over 100.
No, I like the over on Cam Coleman. Look, he's going to be the guy. But in being the guy, you draw a lot of attention, and Auburn has a lot of guys that could potentially hurt you. We'll see what those route trees look like this year. Jumping over to Eric Singleton, man, over under 80 yards for Eric Singleton Jr.
I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to go over with him as well. I think all purpose for sure over 100. But I wonder if he takes a jet sweep. I know they kind of do the pop pass now on the jet sweep, so it kind of ends up as a reception. And I don't know that he'll take any direct carries out of the backfield. Yeah, I'm going to say over. I think he'll go over. 85 or 90 yards, something like that. And he may house a punt. He may house a punt. So
we're approaching. I got 2 more for you. Over under 100 yards on the ground for Damari Alston.
I'm going to say under.
Under for Damari.
I think Jackson could have close to 100 yards. I think he's going to run it a bunch. I've heard that there's been a lot of times, Mike, there's been some plays blown dead where they're scratching their head a little bit like, man, if I could run right now, if I could have been running. And even the defense is like, I think we're kind of glad he can't run because he's above, like you said, I'd call him higher than above average. He's a good runner.
Reminds me of when Cam was here and he would take off running, and Gene Chizik said, now, would that have been a 5-yard gain or an 80-yard gain? We don't know. Well, in hindsight, we know a bunch of 80-yard gains.
Yes.
Look, we got to talk offensive line before we get out of here. Over under 2 sacks allowed for the offensive line.
That's a tough one because Hugh's been very transparent that Auburn, they've struggled in the straight drop back game. Okay. So if you get into a tight game scenario where you're not like, you may have to throw your way back into some things, or you got a lot of down and distances that are not favorable and you can't sort of stay ahead of the chains with that RPO. I could see there maybe being, 2 or more sacks, but I'm going to go under. I'm going to go under. I think we're not giving Auburn's defensive line enough credit in these scrimmages and these formats. So I still think the talent's there. I'm going to go under. I'm going to say there's going to be less than 2 sacks.
Less than 2 sacks. I don't know. I'm so bullish on Auburn in this game. I can't call a 38-21 win and not smash the over. I'm going under on this one as well too. I think Jackson Arnold. I think that Hugh Freeze is going to make sure that he gets rid of the football. He's a little elusive, so it's going to be hard to get him back there. Look, I think Baylor puts up a good fight in this game. I just think Auburn pulls away in the end. So, we've got some Baylor fans that are consistently in our comment section. And a lot of this might sound like disrespect to Baylor, but they're a very good football team. I think that will contend for the Big 12. As you know, I cover a lot, cover UCF. So, we talk Baylor all the time. Baylor's on UCF schedule, so going to be talking about them a couple times this year. Like I said, Dave Aranda's got a good football team on his hands. I just think talent wins at the end of the day, and I think Auburn has that in spades. We got it in spades here on the Auburn Express with my good friend Kyle Rush. Kyle, before we get out of here, tell people where they can find you.
You said it earlier. Subscribe to thebarnauburn.com. It's our message board. Jump in the conversation where we'll be talking Auburn football all the time. And then you can catch us on YouTube or anywhere where you get a podcast.
Guys, do us a favor. If you're in the comments after the video, let us know your over-unders. And also, do us a favor and smash that super thanks button. Your financial support help keeps the work that we're doing here going. Please hit like and subscribe. We are the War Report on every social media platform. TW Report on TikTok. We're signing off, and as always, War Eagle.